pre-algebra. We're going over PO26, which is finding a part, a whole, or a percent using an equation or proportion. Every percentage question you've ever been asked or ever will be asked contains these three pieces. You've got the part, you've got the whole, and you've got the percentage. Okay? And so PO26 is a power objective because after PO26, you will have the tools to answer and solve for anything involving percentages. Okay? It's, first of all, important to identify what is the part, what is the whole, what is the percentage. Okay? So in the formulas that I'm going to show you today, the part is represented by the variable P. Makes sense, part, right? The whole is represented by the variable W. Anthony, do you need to go someplace else? The whole is represented by the variable W, because even though it's silent, whole begins with W, right? And the percent is represented by the percentage symbol, okay? And so in each of these examples below, we're going to kind of start simple here. All we're going to do is identify what is the part, what is the whole, and what is the percent. Now, the percent should be pretty easy to identify, right? 72 is 90% of 80. What's our percentage there? 90%. Okay? So there's our percentage. The part and the whole, though, can be a little bit difficult. Okay? How can we identify, in a situation such as this, what is the part and what is the whole? There's a trick, thankfully, that we can use here. Anyone know what it is? Okay? It has to do with the words is and of, particularly of. Usually, what follows the word of, in this case, that 80, that's going to be your whole. Okay? So when you're looking to identify what is my part, what is my whole, look for the word of, and what comes after that is usually going to be the whole. Obviously, there are exceptions to pretty much everything. There are exceptions to that too, but they're rare. Okay? That is a very good way to find the whole. And then what's left, right? 72, it's got to be the part. And it makes sense, because if 72 is 90% of 80, right? Let's say you have an 80 question test. You got a 90% on it. The part you got correct is 72. You got 72 out of 80, right? The part and the whole. 16% of 30 is 4.8. Start with the easy one. What's our percentage? 16. It's got the percentage symbol. I like that. Right? What's our whole? What's our part? 30 is the whole. 30 is the whole because it follows that word of. Okay? 4.8 is a part of 30. It's 16% of 30. 30 is the whole. 4.8 is going to be the part. Right? What about that last one, though? The last one doesn't have the word is, doesn't have the word of, doesn't have a percentage symbol. Okay? Here we've got a proportion, right? And when we're dealing with a proportion, what represents the part, what represents the whole, and what represents the percentage?
The percentage is 80.
Very good. How'd you know that?
Because it's 80 over 100.
Yes, excellent. Remember that percentage is out of 100, right? The word percent literally means 100. So in this case, this 80 represents the percentage because it's the numerator of a fraction with the denominator of 100. Brilliant. Okay? Now, the part, the whole. Anthony.
Isn't 20 the part?
Why would 20 be the part?
Because it's like part of the whole.
But why 20? Why not 25?
Because it's like the denominator.
Okay, and when we read a fraction, right, one way to think about it is 20 out of 25. Okay, so excellent, yeah. 20 is our part, and 25 is our whole. And if you divided 20 by 25, you get 0.8 as a decimal. Remember, fraction is really division. 20 divided by 25 equals 0.8, and lo and behold, what is 0.8 as a percentage? 80%. It all fits together. It's beautiful. Okay? It's beautiful. Right? Question so far?
No.
Identifying the part, the whole, the percent. All right. So here's the key point. Here's what I want you to put on a help sheet. Here are the formulas that you can use, and there are two of them. One of them is set up in a proportion-like way. The other one is set up in an equation-like way. So if you like proportions, you like cross products, you like fractions, this is the way to go. If you like decimals, you like equations, solving for a variable in an equation, then you might like that one a little bit more. But basically, this is it. The proportion, the part over the whole equals the percent over 100. Kind of like what we saw in that third example above there, right? But the part over the whole is equal to the percent over 100. More in like a abbreviation way, you can abbreviate this to be P over W equals percent over 100. Right? Means the same thing, right? But more abbreviated. You might want to write that down. Yes. The equation method is the part is equal to the percent times the whole. A part is equal to a percentage of a whole, essentially. Right? So again, using more abbreviated methods here, P is equal to percent times W. Okay. Both of these formulas will get you to the answer. The process to use them is a little bit different. Obviously, one's a proportion, one's an equation, right? But they'll both get you to the same place. How are we doing so far? Glorious, right? Can I move down the page, or are we still jotting down some notes? Go down the page? All right. Let's practice. I'm going to rewrite the formulas so we can see them while we're working here. Again, our proportion, part over whole equals percent over 100. Our equation, part is equal to the percent times the whole. Okay, so we're going to use both methods here. So don't write too large. We're going to use the proportions method, then the equation method. But an example of a percentage question that you can be asked here is, what number is 35% of 70? Right? What is 35% of 70? And using the proportion method or the equation method, we first have to identify what's our part, what's our percent, what's our whole. Just like we did at the top. So in this question, easy one first, what's the percentage? Anybody? 35%, right? And you know that because it literally has, right, the percentage symbol on it. That's the easy one to pick out. Okay? Now, what's our part? What's our whole? William?
Our whole is 70.
Our whole is 70. And you know that because?
Of.
It follows the word of. Okay? In The Lion King, we're told to feel the love. In math, we feel the of. And then, of course, the part then is represented by this what number. That's what we don't know. That's what we have to solve for. Okay? Whenever you're asked to find something, we're given two of the three pieces. In this case, we're given the percent, we're given the whole, we're solving for the part. So using the proportions method, our part is what we don't know, so that's going to be the variable, over our whole, which is 70, equals our percentage, which is 35, over 100, which is always there. It's part of the formula. P over 70 equals 35 over 100. We actually kind of did this in the previous objective, didn't we? Set up a proportion to solve for a variable. What methods did we use then? If there was an easy, if 70 was friendly and there was an easy scale factor here, could we use scale factor to build up to 100? Sure. 70 is not friendly. So what other options do we have? That we've done already. We did it in 23 and 24 and 25.
Do they multiply the 35 times 70 divided by 100?
We multiply the 35 and the 70, divide by 100. What method is that? cross products, right? And really what we're doing, we say divide by 100, but we're really multiplying twice, okay? And the equation that we get is 70 times 35 equals 100 times P. Is essentially what shows up there, right? And the reason why we divide by 100 is because 70 times 35 is what? Help a brother out. What's 70 times 35? Quick maths.
2,450.
What?
2,450.
Do you have a second on that? 2,450?
Wait a second.
A confirmation?
2,450.
All right. So 70 times 35 is 2,450. That equals 100p. And how do we get p by itself? Besides drinking a lot of water.
No.
PG lesson today. Don't go home and show the kids. Okay. We divide by 100, right? To get the variable by itself, we divide by 100, and we end up with 24.5. Okay. So using that proportions method, setting up that fraction, setting up that proportion, cross products to solve. What number is 35% of 70? 24.5 is 30% or 35% of 70. Okay. Questions on the setup? Anything? Okay. Using the equation method. P equals percent times whole. We already identified the part is what we're solving for. So P equals 35% times the whole, which is 70. Okay. Now I said before, if you like fractions, you like proportions, you like cross products, you'll like what we're doing over here because that percentage is written as a fraction, 35/100ths. If you like decimals, you like equations, you're going to like what we're doing now. Because we have to convert that 35% to a decimal, which is what? 0.35. So P equals 0.35 times 70. Well, since our variable is already by itself, all we have to do is multiply 0.35 by 70. What do we get? Spoiler alert, we already found it, but quick math, Anthony?
Is it 2,450?
It's not.
24.5.
Penelope?
Oh no.
24.5. Positive language. Okay? It is 24.5. Okay? So sometimes the equation method is a little bit faster, especially if you're solving for the part because the variable is already by itself. When we're solving for the percentage or solving for the whole, this gets a little bit messier. There are more steps to it, but the basic setup is the same. Here, our percentage is a fraction. Here, our percentage is a decimal. Here, you're using cross products. Over here, you're using an equation. Both of them clearly get to the same result. Okay? And that's as far as we're going to get to today. So no homework for tomorrow. We'll pick up in this spot then. And if you want to try and work ahead, be my guest. But do that's how you math, folks.